What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a series overview for the Ultra series. In this video, I will quickly summarize every Ultra Blaster available on the market, show you them firing, and give you my top picks. So what is the Ultra series? The Ultra series shoots Ultra darts. These darts are different than Elite darts and Mega darts because they're more styrofoam rather than standard Nerf foam. They are a little bit bigger than Elite darts, but a little smaller than Nerf Mega darts. And just like you can't put an Elite dart into a Mega Blaster or a Mega dart into an Elite Blaster, in the same way, Ultra darts can only go into Ultra Blasters. And I'll just get this out of the way right now. Since Nerf released the Ultra series, I have been openly against it. Hasbro has made a lot of marketing claims, very few of them are actually true, and overall I just don't really like the Ultra Blasters. And the Ultra Dart design in particular is just not a very stable dart, it's not a very accurate dart. So for the overwhelming majority of you guys, I would not recommend you purchase an Ultra Blaster. I would recommend you purchase an Elite Blaster and fire waffle head darts out of it, or a Rival Blaster. And following either of these paths, you will gain better performance and just a better user experience altogether. I got it out of the way, so now I won't be ripping on Ultra for the rest of the video. So now to the blaster overviews. Starting out with the Nerf Ultra 1. It's called the 1, and it was the first one. This blaster is flywheel powered, requires 4 C-type batteries, and features a mechanically operated semi-auto trigger system. The trigger system in the Ultra 1 is very gritty and mechanically sloppy. That's because it has this dart lock system that detects this little lump on the back of the dart. It adds an extra step, mechanically speaking, so it slows it down and it makes it feel very mechanically gritty. User experience is pretty low on this one, and it also features the lowest chrono velocity out of any Ultra Blaster, at 75 feet per second. All the other Ultra Blasters shoot between 90 and 105 feet per second, so that is noticeably slower in velocity. The performance out of the Ultra 1 is quite bad relative to the other Ultra Blasters. But the Ultra 1 features a 25-round drum. That's the shortened overview for the Ultra 1. Next up is the Ultra 2. The Ultra 2 is a flywheel-powered semi-auto blaster that has a rear-loading cylinder. This is a unique cylinder because you load it from the back, not from the front. And as I mentioned in my review, loading this thing makes you feel like a cowboy. You can just lower it, it feels like your drum's popping out, you can freely spin it and reload it. This blaster is a fun one to use. It runs on 6 AA-type batteries and has a 92 feet per second chrono average. This blaster does occasionally jam up and hiccup, so you'll have to open up the access door and clear that jam occasionally. And this rev trigger and grip design are not my favorite. I complained about this in the review. I don't really like the ergo on this blaster. But loading it is so cool, it makes you feel like a cowboy. That's the #1 reason to purchase this blaster. But you have an in-strike tack rail up here, down here, and 2 sling mounts, one here and here. That is the Ultra 2. Next up, you guessed it, the Ultra 3. Yeah, I'm going in numerical order, not the launch order, because that just makes more sense. Hasbro, why did you launch them out of order? That's so confusing. The Ultra 3 is a spring-powered, pump-action, internal magazine-fed blaster. This is not a removable magazine, but it is built into the blaster and it has a capacity of 8 darts. You've got a tack rail up here, and that's pretty much it. And the Ultra 3 has a chrono average of 103 feet per second. There's nothing really wrong with this blaster, but it's quite boring, and for an 8-shot capacity, it's quite large. So, relatively boring, but that is the Ultra 3. Next up is the Ultra 4. The Ultra 4 is a spring-powered single-shot blaster that primes like that. The Ultra 4 is one of the only Ultra Blasters that doesn't have anything wrong with it. It doesn't jam, it doesn't malfunction, it actually does everything as advertised. So for the Ultra curve, it's quite exceptional. For the normal Nerf curve, it's just okay. I said I wasn't going to rip on Ultra this whole video, but how can I not? But this single shot blaster works like pretty much every other single shot blaster out there. Pew pew. The Ultra 4 has a chrono average of 96 feet per second. Tack rail up here, 2 sling mounts. That is the Ultra 4. Next up is the Ultra 5. The Ultra 5 is a spring-powered top prime blaster with an internal magazine. The internal magazine holds 4 Ultra darts. If you've ever used a Nerf Mega Magnus, loading this blaster is very similar. First you prime back, which opens up the feed lips, then you can put your darts right on in there. This is harder to load than the Mega Magnus. I think they made the breech just a little too small. I think they should have extended the opening by 1/4 of an inch, maybe even 1/2 inch, because you have to really wiggle the darts in there. It's kind of annoying to load this one. But this is an internal magazine, so you have to reload it like that every time. Nothing detaches like a box magazine. The chrono average for the Ultra 5 is about 99 feet per second. Tack rail up here, sling mount down here, and silly brass knuckle style grip here. This might be comfortable for you in your hand, but I think most people are going to get seriously annoyed at how controlling it is. It gets uncomfortable because your fingers can't slide to where they want to be. They're forced into these little loops here. But if you ever want to smack a zombie in the face, they can protect you like brass knuckles. That is the Ultra 5. Next up is the Ultra 6. No, I'm just kidding. This is called the Ultra Pharaoh.
Hey guys, let's name just a couple of them numbers and then randomly just start calling them by name.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Give that guy a raise.
Hasbro, what are you doing? But this blaster is the Ultra Pharaoh, a sniper rifle. This blaster is magazine-fed, spring-powered with a bolt-action system. To prime this one, you can lift the bolt handle up, pull back, return it, and lower it. So the bolt action gives you a sniper rifle vibe. This blaster is deliberately oversized. It's very big. It's supposed to be like a heavy gunner, sort of like a Barrett 50 cal, as supported by this cool looking fake muzzle brake up here. The included magazine holds 10 Nerf Ultra darts. True Nerf snipers only use 6-round magazines, so I don't know what Hasbro was thinking releasing this blaster with 10-round mag, but if you want to use the Ultra Amp magazine in the Pharaoh, it is compatible. You have a long tack rail under here for a bipod and a magazine slot in the rear, but this scope is not removable. There's no in-strike rail underneath there, and this scope is mounted so low that you really have to smash your face into the blaster to look through it, and you can't remove it to replace it with a scope that fits you and your face size. So that's a bummer. I would have liked to see more tactics, specifically attack rail, so I can put on whatever scope I want. And the Ultra Ferro has a chrono average of about 102 feet per second. And this blaster is actually fun to use. I hate almost all of the Ultra blasters, but I would actually use this one because it's entertaining. Now, I can't argue it's going to be battle effective or anything, especially if there's rival blasters on the field, but it's still entertaining to use, and I think that's what they were going for. That is the Ultra Ferro. Up next is the Ultra Scream Machine. Now I have to do that every single time I introduce this blaster on my channel. That's going to be a really annoying precedent, isn't it? The Ultra Scream Machine is essentially an Ultra 2 with a stock and this little tack rail added on top. It's very similar. Mechanically, it's pretty much identical. But it's a 6-shot rear-loading cylinder, just like the Ultra 2. You have some dart storage up here, a tack rail, and a permanent fixed stock with 2 sling attachment points. This blaster is essentially a repaint of the Ultra Dorado, which I have not reviewed on this channel. That blaster is not available in America. This one is, I think, the replacement. Probably because the name Dorado would not do well in the American marketplace. That's just a silly word. Talking about Doritos, did you just spell it wrong? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't really see any reason anybody would purchase the Scream Machine. I would recommend the Ultra 2 if you want a blaster like this. The Ultra 2 is pretty cool because it makes you feel like a cowboy. I don't get that vibe off of the Scream Machine. But the Scream Machine does come with these blue Screamer darts which whistle when you shoot them, which could be cool, but you can also just buy the Scream darts separately and shoot them through your Ultra 2. The chrono average of the Scream Machine is 103 feet per second. So pretty boring blaster, but that is the Scream Machine. Lastly, for this overview is the Ultra Amp, or AMP. I'm going to call it Amp because that sounds cooler. This blaster is flywheel powered semi-auto with a magazine. It's essentially the Ultra Strife. It features an in-strike tack rail up here and a permanent red dot and vertical grip. Now, it's annoying that you can't remove them, but this vertical grip is actually really steady and stable compared to one of the in-strike attachments, which flops around a lot. You can't really put weight or stress on an in-strike foregrip or it'll just snap off. This one is super stable, so you can actually use it if you want to. And thankfully, they put a standard in-strike stock attachment point on the amp, so if you want to put a normal Elite stock on here or modulus stock, you totally can, which is cool for the tactics and the customization and such. The chrono average of the amp is about 100 feet per second. The capacity of the included magazine is 6 Ultra darts, but it's also compatible with the Ferro's 10-dart magazine. There's nothing really wrong with the Ultra Amp, but there's nothing special going on here, and it's still not very accurate compared to an Elite blaster shooting waffle head darts. It shoots a little harder than those, but you still can't hit stuff, so I don't care personally. This overview totally sucks. I'm not trying to be such a downer. It's just hard to be uplifting with such a garbage series like Ultra. So yeah, it's an Ultra Strife. That is the Ultra Amp. That is a quick overview of all of the blasters available in the Ultra series today. This is being filmed in April 2021, and as I mentioned, the Dorado is essentially a Scream Machine, and the Dorado is not available in my country, so the Scream Machine is essentially the same. So that is all of the Ultra blasters available to me right now. Now I'll show you all of them firing. Ultra 1. Ultra 2. Ultra 3. Ultra 4. Ultra 5. It's not cooperating. Ultra Ferro. Operating the Ultra Blasters varies wildly from blaster to blaster. Most of them are very inaccurate though. That is consistent across all of them. I don't think these darts are very accurate. They do shoot harder and further than Nerf Elite darts, so you can outrange someone shooting you with Elite darts. Probably not going to hit them at that range, but you can shoot at them to annoy them. That is an overview and the firing demo of all of the Ultra Blasters. Now to my top picks. I really had to stretch for this one, but I only came up with 2 top picks for the Ultra series. Can you blame me? Most of them are garbage. So my first top pick for the Ultra series is the Ultra 2. I like the Ultra 2 because it makes me feel like a cowboy. Loading this thing is really fun. I had a very nice emotional response to using this blaster. If you're a cosplayer or if you Nerf like emotionally rather than competitively, this one is actually pretty fun to use. I would recommend you shave down the bottom of the rev trigger with a Dremel tool to make it more comfortable. That would help the ergonomics, and it does jam and hiccup occasionally. But it is a fun blaster to use. I'm not saying it's more practical, but it is entertaining. The bar for the top picks in the Ultra series is pretty low, as you can tell, bros. But it made it, just by a little bit. The Ultra 2 on my top picks list. And the last top pick for the Ultra series is the Ultra Ferro. I chose the Ultra Ferro because it is really fun to use and it really gives you a sniper feel. The bolt cycles really well and it has a large oversized build. It feels like a Nerf equivalent of a Barrett 50 cal. Now is that a good thing? Maybe not, but it's pretty cool and it's definitely unique. But realistically, I think the Ultra Ferro will be best just for plinking and having fun, not actual competitive Nerf. But really, none of the Ultra Blasters are going to do exceptionally well if you're permitted to use a Rival Blaster, because Rival will destroy Ultra and Elite. Nonetheless, the Ultra Ferro makes my top picks list because it's really fun to use. So if you want to feel like a sniper, check this one out. That is a series overview for the Ultra series. You didn't ask for it, but I gave it to you anyways. You're welcome, Internet. And I want to restate, I still don't really recommend anybody purchase an Ultra Blaster. I still recommend you go out and purchase a Nerf Elite Blaster or an Adventure Force Blaster by Dart Zone and shoot wafflehead darts out of those. Or purchase a Rival Blaster and you'll be able to shoot more accurately and further than all of the blasters. I still don't really see a good reason to purchase the Ultra Blasters or the darts. But if you want more details on any blaster that I mentioned, type the blaster name into my channel and you will find the dedicated review video. So that is it for the Ultra series overview. If you want a series overview for anything else, leave a comment in the section below. That concludes this video. Thanks so much for watching, bros, and as always, stay tactical.